Another part of attitude is dependability. Customers constantly tell us that dependability is one of the most important elements of a good crew. And one major way they measure our dependability is through on-time pickup and delivery, and on-time arrival of the PAC crew. Dependability obviously goes hand in hand with teamwork. Your coworkers have to depend on you and know that the handoffs will be made in order for a move to go smoothly. So, as an operational standard, packers and movers are expected to report on time for work. And on time means reporting to work prior to start time, being in uniform, and being ready to work when you arrive. In order to help you be on time, you should know where to report for work at either the agency or the residence. Arrange ahead of time for dependable transportation. Have breakfast prior to starting work and contact the dispatcher at the end of the day for the next day's work orders. And our company also depends on you to make sure that the job gets done. That means not giving up if things get difficult. Taking responsibility for seeing the job through to completion. There are going to be times when the job won't be done at 5 o'clock, but the customer still needs everything packed or loaded. Your team also depends on you to work at a consistent pace throughout the day, even without supervision. You need to show initiative in making the best of your time.
The service was excellent. The gentleman who moved me did an extraordinary job and took exceptional care of my antique items. He was on time, he explained everything thoroughly, and he didn't rush. The service was outstanding in every way.
We had a great experience with the crew that loaded and packed us. The guy who unloaded could have been more careful while carrying in our furniture.
We move a lot, and this experience with your company was our best relocation yet. The people were very helpful and friendly on both ends.
Well, I always try to remember that a move can be very difficult for any customer. They often comment on how we respect them and treat their home and property.
And that's why you have to gear everything that you do to treat the customer with courtesy and respect. And that means looking at your actions through the customer's eyes and making sure that the job gets done to their expectations, not yours.
Sure, I can think of lots of things that we all do that might be okay at our house or at a friend's house, but we would never do in the home of a customer.
And you have to be careful because every customer has different values and lifestyles and likes and dislikes that you and I may never even know about. So you have to make sure that you avoid behaviors that can either bother or offend the customer or even damage their home and property. The most important thing is obviously to respect the customer's home and their possessions. Ask permission to use a bathroom. Never talk on your cell phone or even text messages while you're in the customer's home. That's what breaks are for. If you must make or take a business-related call, step outside. Also, it's inappropriate to ask if we can take discarded items. If the customer offers an item to you, you must have them signed stating it's okay. Don't change the customer's radio station or play your own music without permission. And don't bring your own music with earphones. We have to be able to hear instructions from our lead person and questions from our customers. And then there's the whole issue of eating. Never eat while working and never eat in the residence. It's not a break room. Since you may not have transportation or there may not even be a restaurant nearby, always plan to bring your own lunch. We have actually had new packers and movers ask to borrow the customer's car so that they can go and get lunch or run an errand. Needless to say, that's not an option.
Sometimes the customer will ask us to have lunch in their home. They'll actually ask if we would like anything to eat around lunchtime.
Well, if they offer, it's okay to accept, but just make sure you keep their house neat and then clean up any mess that you make.
Well, what about smoking?
If you have to smoke on a break, do it out of the way in front of the tractor, but never smoke in or around the van or in the residence. And make sure that you dispose of your ashes and cigarette butts appropriately. You have to remember that you're setting an example of our company for the neighbors and anybody else that happens to be passing by. So how we behave outside in front of the tractor or trailer, it's just as important as how we behave inside the residence. And it goes without saying, never use drugs or alcohol on the job at any time.
You know, I've had customers ask if the crew would like a beer at the end of the workday. That happens occasionally.
Well, I know our customers mean well, but it's a bad idea. So if they offer you beer, just politely refuse and explain that it's against company policy. But water or soda are just fine. You know, it's not just what we do that's important, but everything we say helps form their perception of our company. Avoid making comments about a customer's taste in furniture or clothes or about their home or neighborhood. Remember, you're a guest in their home. Be polite and use proper language like sir and ma'am. Address customers by name and never argue with a customer. Don't curse or use obscene language. And even if a customer is out of sight, there's a good chance they still may be able to hear you. Talking too much with your coworkers is also not well received by our customers. Never air dirty laundry in front of the customer, like talking about problems with your coworkers or your company. If you see a problem that you want to bring up with your crew leader or van operator, do it quietly, away from the customer. Well, you want to be friendly and be yourself, but you have to maintain that professional distance. The customer doesn't care about your dates or your problems or what you did over the weekend. You're there to do a job.
Got it.
There are also other inappropriate behaviors that can lead to actually being fired, like stealing, fighting, or other physical violence, making comments or overtures of a sexual nature, and unauthorized use or misuse of moving equipment or customers' possessions. Above all, remember that respecting the customer means that the customer comes first. Treat the customer just how you would want to be treated. Listen to their concerns, show understanding, and let them know you care. Reassure them and protect their possessions as if they were your own.
Well, I guess every customer situation is really different. In the long run, I guess you just need to use your own judgment.
And using judgment draws on your experience as well as common sense. Judgment will be applying the skills that you learn to real-life situations that you come across out in the field. Situations that go beyond knowing how to pack, wrap, or load.
For example, what if you see a coworker who's been drinking on the job? Do you tell someone? And what if at the end of a loading day, a customer asks you to help them load their luggage and other things that they'll be taking with them? Do you agree to do it?
Or what if you have a customer who insists that other moving companies in the past have moved their propane tanks? Since you know that the tanks are non-allowable, how do you handle it? Or what if you find that you don't have the adequate materials to properly protect a valuable piece of artwork? Do you improvise? Or what if during the packing process you come across some items that are already broken? How do you go about telling somebody? You know, every customer's move is unique, and every person's needs are different. You may have to come up with some solutions to obstacles using judgment and problem-solving abilities. That involves flexibility, being able to adapt to different situations. Keep in mind the customer's point of view and try to look at a situation through the customer's eyes. First, clearly define the problem. Then generate options. Get others involved if necessary, including the customer. Then select the best solution. Judgment also means knowing your limits, not doing a job which you haven't been trained. You always have to let your lead packer, van operator, or crew leader know your abilities and what tasks you can accomplish. And that means asking questions if you're unsure what your supervisor wants you to do next. Don't try to guess. Every time you're faced with a problem to be solved or a judgment call, there are a lot of things that you have to ask yourself. Is it safe? Is it legal? Does it meet standards? Am I trained to do it? How can I make the customer happy? How does it affect our bottom line? These standards in the area of appearance, teamwork, dependability, and respecting the customer let our clients know that they're working with professionals. Quality is both attitude and action. And at the same time, you can feel good about yourself and the job you do. It also helps your career, since packers and movers with the highest degree of professional appearance, best attitude, and greatest expertise will advance the fastest. Customers pay our bills, and it's not just how you do the job, but the manner in which you deliver the services. How well we deliver on customers' expectations will be reflected in how successful we are as a company.